The Department of Homeland Security is telling Kilmar Abrego Garcia to disregard a notice of removal to Ghana, calling it premature. DHS previously said it was planning to deport him to Uganda or Eswatini after he was wrongly deported to his native El Salvador. On Monday, government attorneys struggled to answer questions about evidence in the case. Now those attorneys are due back in court. Meanwhile, a separate hearing in the human trafficking case against Abrego Garcia is also happening today. He has pleaded not guilty to those charges, and ABC's Matt Rivers is here with more on that. So, Matt, what's the latest on these hearings and what's at stake?
Yeah, so they're both going on today, Diane. Let's start with the one in Maryland, which is really the heart of the immigration side of all of this. You've got the federal judge in this case basically telling government lawyers, look, if you have plans to deport Abrego Garcia to a third country, so not El Salvador, whether it's Uganda, whether it's Ghana, whether it's Eswatini, you have to present a timeline of being able to do so, because what she has said is that the government has failed to present an actual timeline for being able to do that, part of which is because some of these countries aforementioned have not yet agreed to actually accept Abrego Garcia. And what the judge is deciding here is, well, if the government can't come up with some sort of plan to deport Abrego Garcia in a timely manner to a third country, well, she says you can't just keep a detainee like this in custody forever without an actual plan to deport him. So that's the hearing that's ongoing right now. There is a chance, there's a world in which that at the end of all of this, Abrego Garcia is actually released from custody if the judge decides that the government is not holding up its end of the bargain here. I think that's a smaller chance at this point, but we'll have to wait and see. Moving on to Tennessee at this point, remember that's where Abrego Garcia was facing 2 counts of human trafficking charges that the government brought against him after he was returned from El Salvador. The hearing there basically starting a process where the courts will decide whether the federal government brought those charges in vindictive retaliation. Basically, the federal judge assigned to that case has deemed it a credible enough claim on the part of the attorneys of Abrego Garcia, who have said that the government doesn't have a right to bring this case, that they're doing so because essentially they were mad that they were forced to bring him back from El Salvador. They're calling it vindictive, they're calling it retaliation. And so this hearing today, part of a process that will play out through the month of November to decide whether or not the government's charges in this case are actually valid. And we know attorneys today, Diane, have argued that that case against Abrego Garcia should be dismissed.
All right, Matt Rivers, thank you.